We transition to the old man, wondering how was Yuri able to let this man pass her. There seems to be a barrier blocking the item. Neither physical nor magical attacks can penetrate this barrier. Jin Hyuk figured out a way of dispersing the barrier just by touching it. But there's a condition. He needs to use his fire magic constantly to weaken the barrier. This will let Jin Hyuk become able to retrieve the items. The old man doesn't fancy this decision. Jin Hyuk tells him he's unable to hold strong magic that's capable of weakening the barrier. And it's going to be morning soon and they can't leave this place without getting anything. The old man asks Jin Hyuk if he promises to give him the map. Jin Hyuk agrees. After all, he doesn't want to make an enemy out of a higher-ranking magician. He finally agrees to the plan. He starts weakening the barrier with his fire magic. Jin Hyuk manages to get through the barrier successfully. The old man tells him to hurry because he can't hold the barrier any much longer. But of course, this was all a part of his plan all along. We see many items and accessories. It doesn't seem like anyone has been here, except for one person. The iron sword that has Qian Long inscribed on it has been taken. Jin Hyuk knows who it is, and he bet that he was the one that placed the barrier. But what he took was a mere second-rate relic. Jin Hyuk found it. Sangpyeong Tongbo. This is an item capable of creating Jin Hyuk's inherent ability. The last puzzle piece required to make the most powerful skill. The material needed are ceremonial Persian formwork. And the right eye of Tutankhamun's mask. And by combining these two items, a message pops up telling Jin Hyuk that the two relics are reacting. This message only pops up when relics that fit each other has met. And at the same time, it's a message telling Jin Hyuk to pay the appropriate price if he wants to continue. The three relics started to react to each other. Jin Hyuk has successfully combined all three relics, creating the Eyes of Truth. The Eyes of Truth is a double S item. The Eyes of Truth is capable of browsing through a player's status window. And it's also able to tell whether or not someone is lying or telling the truth. There are 5 eyes that exist in Tower of Trial. And out of all of them, this one is the best. But there was also another reason why Jin Hyuk came to the museum. Hidden Quest. Successfully combine 3 relics of B rank or lower to craft an item of S rank or higher. Jin Hyuk has met the requirements. Copying and storing abilities that exist in the world. And using those to create even stronger abilities. That is Jin Hyuk's weapon in order to become the strongest in the Tower of Trial. Jin Hyuk has acquired the ability Fusion over Link. And Memory of the World is being created. Jin Hyuk has successfully created the skill Fusion over Link. This skill is capable of copying other players' inherent abilities by completing a specific quest. And store them in the memory of the world. And create a skill of higher dimension. However, the difficulty of the conditions for copying a skill surges, the condition may be partially changed. Jin Hyuk decided to test his new ability on the old man. The conditions to copy his abilities says, Min Jingwu has always been hiding his true feelings under a mask. Make him reveal his true feelings. In other words, Jin Hyuk just needs to get on his bad side. Jingwu started to struggle even more. He can't contain the barrier much longer. Jin Hyuk tells him that he can stop using his skill. There was no need for him to keep doing this. Jingwu felt betrayed. Jin Hyuk uses the magic word to disperse the barrier. It's very easy to break the barrier. All you needed was to speak in Latin. That's how Jin Hyuk was able to break the barrier. He played no part in helping. All he did was waste his mana. Jin Hyuk decided to take it a step further by getting on his bad side even more. As we know, Jin Hyuk already knows everything about the tower, so this map is useless to him. But he'll use this as a way to get on the bad side of Jungwoo. He shouts in frustration. Jin Hyuk plans on setting the map on fire. He tells Jungwoo that if this map exists, he can't risk other players gaining an advantage over him. Jin Hyuk burns the map, leaving no traces of it. Jungwoo is furious at Jin Hyuk. He got so enraged his face started to turn red. Jin Hyuk has met the conditions. And he has successfully copied Jungwoo's inherited ability. And it has been saved in the world of memories. Jin Hyuk can now control fire, and his fire affinity with this element will increase. Jingwoo gets ready to turn Jin Hyuk into ashes. But he activated his fire magic, showing him the difference between them. He's shocked that is the same skill as his, but is nothing compared to that. Jin Hyuk tells him that if he wants to climb the tower comfortably, then listen to him. Jin Hyuk will contact him, but, in the meantime, he wants him and Lee Yuri to gain as much levels as they can. Jin Hyuk has gained 2 new chess pieces. But he still has a long way to go. He still needs to obtain even more skills. We transition to Jin Hyuk trying to get something to eat. He sees on the TV that the death rate has been increasing. There have been 23 deaths and 50 injuries in the National Museum. All over the world, including the US, Europe, Japan, and other countries, have suffered through similar incidents. Someone was able to capture a video of the incident in the museum. Some of the people were able to recognize Jin Hyuk from his fighting style. He needs to find a way to hide his identity. The government is undergoing an investigation into the Tower of Trial. And they have created a special group of players with various abilities. Jin Hyuk is surprised at how fast the government is reacting to the situation. He expected them to take at least a week or two. Someone appeared on the TV. He is Han Sang-jin, and he's the chief of the newly established Awakened Association. He's here to recruit other players to the association. He promises to give every player that joins a salary of 60 million won. And this also includes Jin Hyuk. He promises to give the players whatever they so desires. Their goal was to recruit Jin Hyuk all along. They've been treating him like a complete tool, but no matter what, he won't join them. In this world, the value of one extremely well-trained individual is higher than that of 100 average individuals. So that's why he offered a blank check to try and persuade Jin Hyuk. He wonders if the reason he became president was because of his skill or because he has a lot of experience within the Tower of Trial. He really hopes it's because of his unique skill so that he can copy it. Jin Hyuk looks at the clock tonight at 7 a.m. when the hour hand points at the new hour. The Tower of Trial will open again. We see players gather at the tower to enter it. They received 100 coins as celebration for entering the tower. Coins are currency that can be used while in the tower. Players can also upload videos of their accomplishments, earning 100 coins per 10,000 views. The live broadcast is a function that can only be used when dealing with bosses. If someone is found manipulating view counts or using any methods of cheating, there will be serious punishments. Jin Hyuk likes the sound of this. The broadcast system lets viewers choose to watch players that have a higher chance of showing off the top of the tower, thus increasing their views. Everyone charged in at the tower. Jin Hyuk takes his time as always. It should be easy for him to obtain coins, since he already knows everything about the tower. He doesn't plan on uploading any videos first, since sharing information will be a big loss to him. He already figured out what he needs to do. He knows something special that nobody knows about. While they were clearing the lower 30 levels of the tower, there was a time where we couldn't proceed any further. In order for them to go any further, they needed to look for hidden pieces within the lower levels, and that meant retracing their steps. In the end, they managed to find a solution in an abandoned ruin. And that was when they figured it all out. The solution was for him to start back all over again. Jin Hyuk has devoted everything to this game, and this was the answer. He decided to start over again, but this time he will reach the top of the tower. It's finally time for him to enter the labyrinth. This labyrinth was made and designed by Daedalus. It specializes in confusion and numerous different traps made to dissuade people from entering. The aroma, the scene. Everything seems to be the same, but what confused Jin Hyuk was the group of people standing before him. They claimed they were looking for a place to farm but ended up here. Obviously, there are some ulterior motives behind all of this. 10 minutes before entering, the group of people was watching Jin Hyuk for a while now. She decided to go in with him, but her teammates are skeptical of the danger of the labyrinth. She thinks because Jin Hyuk, a level 1 player, went in, then it must be safe also. One of her friends asks her if she thinks he will just share the item with them. She already knows he won't, so she'll just have to kill him instead. We're back in the labyrinth. They ask for Jin Hyuk's cooperation in clearing the labyrinth. But Jin Hyuk saw right through their scheme with his eye of truth. Her name is Park Hana, and her level is level 1. Her stats are very low with 0 stats points possessed. She has no class. Her skill is level 1 commune, level 1 quick step and level 1 weak healing. Overall, she's just very weak. Jin Hyuk finds her skill commune very intriguing. Commune, this skill lets its user become able to befriend anyone, even strangers, and is capable of erasing feelings and discomfort. The condition for copying her skill is to cooperate with her for 240 hours. However, once 240 hours have passed, there must be no one nearby you and Hana. This skill will come in handy when dealing with the vampire princess. Her associate's name is Chul Sik. And he hasn't made any progress in Tower of Trial, not even in the first floor. The brown-haired girl's name is Hyam Min, and the dark-haired girl's name is Jang Mina, and she has played up to the 3rd floor. The other 2 person names are Min Guk and Kwang Woo, and both have never played Tower of Trial before. Jin Hyuk introduces himself to them. They're obviously going to betray him soon, so there's no need to remember their names. Hana grabs Jin Hyuk's hands, trying to seduce him and get any bit of information about his experience in the Tower of Trial. Jin Hyuk gets flustered for a bit. He was not aware of how the skill worked, so he was caught off guard by it. But he quickly recovered from it. She's shocked that her skill didn't work on him. He decided to tell them more about the labyrinth and its tricks. The labyrinth is able to change at fixed time intervals. Suddenly the labyrinth started to change. She wonders if this is truly a level 1 labyrinth. Hana almost got crushed by one of the walls of the labyrinth, but she dodges it. They manage to make it out safely. But they're a bit shook by the experience. Jin Hyuk asks them if they hadn't seen a terrain-changing labyrinth before. Hana is in a hurry to get out of here. She asks one of her friends to use her skill to locate the exit of the labyrinth. But as soon as the labyrinth was changing, her skill was cancelled. They all started to panic. Jin Hyuk realized why they rushed into the labyrinth so unready. They must have thought the labyrinth was a neighborhood supermarket, he thinks. Suddenly Hana turned her attention toward Jin Hyuk. She started to argue with him about not telling her about the terrain-changing labyrinth. She tells him they almost died because of him. Jin Hyuk tells her that he didn't ask her and her friends to follow him. They did it on their own accord, and now they're facing the casualties. One of her friends got so angry at Jin Hyuk for speaking the obvious and gets ready to attack him. Before he could do any harm, his head gets chopped off by an incoming axe. Suddenly a minotaur came charging in at them. They get ready to face off with it. But Jin Hyuk came dashing in. The minotaur swings its axe, but Jin Hyuk manages to dodge it. And he has obtained the hidden stat Rift. Jin Hyuk continues to dodge the minotaur attacks, and he has gained the hidden stat, Gap. Gap is a stat that narrows the gap in battles with the strong, but on the other hand, widens when fighting against a weaker opponent. The lower the level, the more gap points a player can receive. Level 1 players are able to gain 3 stat points when fighting a stronger opponent. This is Jin Hyuk's method to get stronger at his current level. Jin Hyuk has received so many of the minotaur attacks when he previously played the game that his body was able to memorize all the patterns. Jin Hyuk continues to dodge the attack, growing his stats even further. No matter how strong the minotaur attacks are, it's useless if it can't hit their opponent. They finally realize the type of guy they were about to face. Hana can't believe he was about to kill this guy and take his loot. Jin Hyuk plans on ending this soon. He turns to see what Hana and her friends are up to. But he realized that they're just supporting characters trying to run away. They tried sneaking away, but Jin Hyuk teleported behind them. He tells them if they want to get stronger, they should do the same thing he's doing. The minotaur swings his axe once again, destroying everything in its path. Surprisingly, they manage to survive it. Jin Hyuk makes fun of them for standing still like that. The labyrinth started to change again, saving them from the minotaur. They think about their friends and how they almost joined them in the afterlife. They ask Jin Hyuk if the minotaur is gone. Jin Hyuk tells them that it's only attracted to the residue left behind by the Noctiluans moths he touched earlier. So it will keep coming after them. Hana wonders why Jin Hyuk would do something so crazy. He needed to increase his stats, and this was the fastest method. Jin Hyuk tells them that they can take short breaks. But they'll all return to fighting the minotaur when it comes back. They want to know how long they'll be doing this for. He tells them 1 month, but they can't bear to stay here for 30 days. They plan to go their separate ways to avoid dealing with the minotaur for 1 month. But he made sure to let them know that it is dangerous to wander around in the labyrinth. Hana asks Jin Hyuk if he knows where the exit of the maze is, but of course he knows. He knows the maze better than anyone else. But nothing in this world is free after all. Jin Hyuk needs all their coins.